you are going to see something of County Donegal in the northwest corner of Ireland. There's Ardara. Near this town you'll meet the men who weave tweed by hand, as it has been done for generations. 50 years ago I was a weaver, and it's still done in exactly the same way. You'll see me again later, but in the meantime, let's begin in Donegal town. It's early morning.
Right, Eddie, can you get going now?
Well, that's this morning's van away. It's left our factory here in Donegal town, and it will call on some of our weavers on its way to Ardara. Most of them live up on the high ground, so the van has a bit of a climb. We supply them with the threads which go into the making of the tweed, and they weave it on their own looms. When it's ready, our van calls again and collects the finished piece. Here at the factory, we process the cloth that comes back from the weavers. Also, we supply everything they need to weave it. One thing they need is a roller with the lengthwise threads. This machine winds the threads onto a big wheel. From that, it's a simple matter to put the threads onto the roller. All our tweed is hand-woven by the men in their cottages. When the tweed is woven, the wool has still much of its natural oil in it. This has to be washed out in soap and lots of soft Donegal water. Then it's dried in a spin dryer and given the sort of finish it requires. When it has been checked in our dispatch department, it is ready for our customers. This is the home of one of our best weavers. His name is Peter Maguire.
Nancy, I'm going down to the weaving shed. I must get that piece ready for the van.
Right.
I get up at 8:30, but I don't have to go far to work. I generally work from 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 in the evening, stopping for lunch. That's 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. I weave in a shed separate from the cottage. Now I'm going to get ready the piece of cloth that I finished weaving. Eddie is coming to collect it in the van. He will leave a roller so as I can start on a new bit of weaving. I do the weaving, which is the main thing. My father looks after the farming. This means plenty of work for all of us.
Not a bad day. What stuff on today?
Fair load. I think this one.
Any checks for you?
All right. There's your checks.
That's not so bad. You need those pay packet, boy.
While I go to work, the local children will be on their way to school.
This is the local primary school. The ages of the children in this class range from 9 to 13, and I teach them all subjects. Some of the children walk 3 miles to school. Most of these boys and girls are the children of weavers. Almost all classes are taught using the Irish language. This class is geography. Today we are talking about County Donegal. Cheer no Conde an leifte sha e. Talabocht ihir gan wai. Agus gan morden chumskul no fasrion. An jigan alan kurchere gujin Conde sha a vihil.
Jigan alan kurchere gujin Conde sha.
Anyan and Shidin Wayeston Conde.
Jen and Shidulan Wayeston Conde.
And will got then your sastag will shin fear. A Cormac.
Then was Sasta, or Kayan Shidulan, Salar from Thras, Preston Shidulan Budget.
Anyan three Nielas a chanter shaw. Anora.
Yanter Crutchel Augustet the Alnos a canto show.
Tagamine. Now I'm putting a few questions to the juniors. This is Bernadette. She's 9. She thinks that we have poor soil here. There is little farming. I ask, how do we survive? This is Bridget, aged 10. Bridget says we live by weaving, knitting, and other craft industries. How do we benefit from the sea? This is Noel. His age is 9.5. He talks about the importance of our fishing industry. Often some of the weavers' children, they're kept busy in the evening helping their fathers. One of the things they have to do is to wind thread onto bobbins. At Peter Maguire's home, that is what his wife is doing now.
This is a hand loom, and on it I weave the tweed. It's called a hand loom because it's driven entirely by the person working on it.
That's the roller that came up on the van. When Peter has finished weaving this piece, the threads on that roller will run the length of the piece. Let's call them the lengthwise threads. Peter has to weave the crosswise threads between them to make the tweed. As Peter does so, the cloth slowly winds onto this roller. This is a shuttle. It needs to move fast, and so it has wheels. This is a bobbin, like the ones you've seen Peter's wife, Nancy, winding. The shuttle is in place. He gives the shuttle a pull, and it comes shooting across between the lengthwise threads, and the shuttle leaves a crosswise thread between them. The lengthwise threads can be raised or lowered by the bits of metal and wire which are operated from his feet. Now he crosses the lengthwise threads so that they grip between them the one the shuttle laid. Now the shuttle can go shooting back, leaving another thread in place. And that's what weaving is. Every time a thread is laid, a little more cloth is made, and very slowly it winds onto the roller. It may seem simple, but when he is weaving, he is doing all these things at the same time. Every now and then the bobbin runs out, and Peter has to change it. Also, he frequently has to count the number of cross threads he has woven. If these were not regular, the pattern would look uneven when the cloth is finished. Peter's family work very hard. If Nancy has any time to spare in the day, she can get on with her knitting.
I do the knitting for a company in Ardara. I would say I usually finish one pullover a week. Thomas is 2 and Anne is 4. I have to look after them too. Our cooker burns what we call peat. It's brittle and dry and burns well. But it's not like that when Peter digs it up.
We have to dig the peat in the early summer. We need plenty of it to keep us warm through the winter. Very little grows here. There's no proper earth, just this very damp, soft ground. It's the remains of a forest which stood here thousands of years ago. The freshly dug peat dries in the open. In drying, it shrivels up to half the size it was before, and it gets as hard as a brick. It is stacked up and can be taken away to be burned for heat or to make electricity. Today, some of the weavers who do a little farming as well will be at the fair in Ardra.
The fair of Ardra is not what it used to be. In the early years of this century, it had much of the character of an old-time gathering. There was much hand-clapping while a bargain was being negotiated, and eventually it was sealed.
What's that?
47 pounds.
Not go on it now.
Not
36 pence.
No harm
Here,
done.
come on then. Higher up. Go on. Go on at that if you're going to.
Oh, you'll get it when you buy her.
No, I'll not
Let's
go
run
now.
away.
No, I'll not go.
Go on now.
Please yourself. No, whatever you like now.
47.
Oh, God, I'll not now, but please yourself now what you do. Whatever you think now.
Paddy, he'll give you a pound out of 37.
No, I'll not give me any for I'll not funny.
You're not buying me.
Give me a
pressure up in it.
No, I'll not. No. No, I'll not go no farther.
But now it's time for the weavers' party.
And I must go, I bid you all adieu. The open highway calls me forth to do the things I do. And when I'm tramping far away, I'll hear your voices call. And please God, I'll soon return unto the homes of Donegal.